Hey guys, it's the Demon Corpse, and today we'll be talking about Halo 5 and how it's a mid. A mid, I will say mid. I'm not gonna say high or low, it's just a mid game. It's fun to play, I would say that. Halo 5's gameplay, in my opinion, is really good. I will say that. Let's start with that because most people are going to be saying, oh, Halo 5's gameplay was horrible and it's not like the originals. One, I will say this, they did later on, they didn't add at launch, but later on, after like around 8 months when the game was complete, they did add those modes like Halo, the original Halo gameplay where it's like you're just walking and you're shooting like that, or you're jumping and throwing the grenades like that. They did add that in though, and they did allow community maps to be put into like the main rosters for like single player, for like the multiplayer areas. And I would say it took them a month or 2 months to add Infection, Griffball, Forge World, and Theo mode. It did take them that long, so thank goodness it took them that long to add those things in. As for now, it's taken almost a year or so, eeks, with the new Halo game, but story-wise, it was low. I won't be like defending the story. The story was so confusing because if you look at all the stuff they were advertising, I mean, even the books that were like, hyping up Halo 5, including Escalations, and I do recommend reading Escalations because it was really good, and everything, and everyone was hyped. Everyone had theories, and like, yeah, everyone had those theories about like what could happen. We could see Mythic and Bias. I mean, there was a lot of things that were hyped, and I think Halo 5 was going to be a much darker campaign. It's just I think Microsoft or Xbox or I think it was Phil Spencer, the boss at this time. I surely don't know, but there was a lot of things that were hyped about, and people were like really trying to think and be like, what could happen, and it never came true. And what we got was a turd of a campaign story mode. Gameplay wise, in the campaign, it's good. I mean, it's like an improved version of Halo 4 because legit Halo 5's engine is legit the Halo 4 engine, aka the Halo Reaches engine, but massively more improved. But yeah, even the multiplayer customization was horrible. I don't know what they were thinking, and they could still fix it. That's the thing, they could still fix that customization, but they won't. And I think at this point they've just given up on Halo 5. Sadly, they have. They just like want to forget about it, and that's not good. They should not forget about this game because they need to learn from the mistakes, and they kind of did with Halo Infinite, but they just kind of forgot about how to do updates fast updates, because I think they were trying to make Halo Infinite more into like a Fortnite clone, and it failed miserably because that's not what Halo is. Because I think they need to go back to Halo Reach and look at that and improve on it. That's what I think they should do. But I still remember Halo Reach's vanilla mode. It wasn't the best, but improve on it, and they did improve on it with the MCC, with Halo Reach's version of MCC. If you know what I mean, because the Halo Reach on MCC is massively different from vanilla Halo Reach. If you guys remember that, they should do something about that, but they kind of didn't with Halo 5. But there was some good things like the gameplay, the booster. I really like that where you could press B on the controller and you like, psh, like it was like jetpacks. That was so cool, and you could like do like big melees or like stomp on the ground, like I mean like when you jumped, and you could do like a massive like I mean like with the jetpacks, and you go straight down and psh, hit the ground, and people would lose their shields or something would happen like that. I thought that was cool, and some people didn't, and because it wasn't like the original Halo games. I do like playing those games. I do. I like playing the multiplayer in those games as well, but I do like the improvements 343 were doing. But as a whole, most people don't like that, and well, I don't know. It's just one of those weird issues. And there was even Hunt the Truth podcast in the game. Like everyone like Hunt the Truth, like people trying to find out what this was, and it was a cool podcast that I think didn't really explain anything, only a couple of things, like what was going on, like with this Guardians coming out of different planets and doing all this wacko stuff. And I think most people were not expecting Cortana to be the villain. I think most people weren't thinking about that. You could probably say Halo 5 is kind of like The Last Jedi, but not, I wouldn't say in all ways like The Last Jedi. I would say between The Last Jedi and Halo 5, I would say Halo 5's story is much better than The Last Jedi in aspects, in those areas. Not saying it's the best, but between both those movie and game, I would say Halo 5 is better than The Last Jedi. That had some weird stuff. Oh my. But I mean, they even killed off Julum Dama. I thought that was such a weird move. When I first played that, I was kind of like, wait, what? Why would you kill off the main villain? Like, you could have had him in Halo Infinite, maybe. Well, they did change that. Well, if Halo, it wasn't called Halo Infinite back then, but it was probably just Halo 6. But I don't know. Like, they could have still used Julum Dama. I think like killing him off like that was such an L. It didn't make sense, really, in my opinion. He could have been still a useful villain as a whole, but sadly, that didn't happen. And I would say Halo 5's cutscenes were interesting. They were all in gameplay, I believe. And I mean, when you look at Halo 4's cutscenes to Halo 5's cutscenes, Halo 4's cutscenes, I mean, with the Spartan Ops cutscenes in Halo 4 were amazing. They should use that thing for Halo 5's cutscenes. But sadly, that didn't happen, and they use in-game cutscenes, and I don't have a problem with that. I do not have a problem with in-game cutscenes, and that's always been kind of a Halo thing. It's always been in-game cutscenes, because that was always a thing, and Halo 4 kind of changed that with Spartan Ops, and I thought that was cool too, but I get why they probably went back to it, and I get that. There was even issues with the collector's edition because it wasn't going to come with a physical copy, and even now that sounds weird to this day, but back then that was a thing. People were complaining about not getting a physical copy of the game. And I will say this as well about Halo 5. At least you can still play through the entire game on the disc. I will respect 343 on that part. Is that even the 1.0 version of Halo 5, you can still play the original version of Halo 5 on your Xbox One or Series X, or well, not your S, but your Xbox One and the Xbox One X. Well, it's so confusing with these dang names for these consoles. Xbox has the worst naming, you could say. I will say you can still play the original version of Halo 5, and you can see everything like what was not in the actual game. And probably someone's already done that on YouTube, so you can see like the original vanilla Halo 5 to the newer version of Halo 5 with all the content 8 months later, if you know what I mean. But I mean, there was even Warzone as well. That was amazing. I really enjoyed Warzone a lot. And I did enjoy Warzone. I really did. But I did wish they added Warzone Firefight at launch. And the bosses in Halo 5 for Warzone were really cool. Even Julum Dama was added. That was cool as well in the Warzone simulations. And there was even Forerunners you could face. Like, they should have added more Forerunner bosses in Warzone Firefight, including regular Warzone, but they didn't. And it's sad they didn't add that to Halo Infinite. I mean, why did you guys not add Warzone? I mean, is that not as popular? Like, I enjoyed it. I think a lot of people enjoyed Warzone, or did no one enjoy Warzone? I don't. Maybe no one did, and I'm just the only one that actually enjoyed Warzone for what it was. But I do think they should have probably somewhat added Warzone Firefight to Halo Infinite, maybe just that. But probably most people would get annoyed by that. So I'm not gonna really say any more about that. And then there was the whole microtransactions that I always forget about. There was a microtransactions in Halo 5 that you could get points for in game. I mean, yes, you could buy, and I will say this as well. I did buy some microtransactions in Halo 5 with my own money, and do I regret that? Not really. Like, I mean, I still enjoyed the game for what it was, even if the story sucked. But still, though, I don't regret it. I really don't. I'm not going to be like, oh, I hate microtransactions. It's evil, but they kind of are. But I'm not going to be like the uh the good shepherd and say, oh, I never bought microtransactions. I have with my own money. I have done that before, and with Halo 5. Sadly, well, I don't know. Sadly or not, I don't know. But and there was even the controversies over the Arbiter. I remember with the Arbiter, the people were annoyed that he looked like the elites from Halo 4 and 5. But yeah, I do agree with that. It doesn't make sense, but but 343 was saying, nah, he's the Halo 2 version. But I bet if we actually did some modding, we'd find that he was just a Halo 4 and Halo 5 elite, but looks like the Arbiter. I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, there was even a Life in Halo 2 Anniversary had like, things for Halo 5. I mean, if you remember playing Halo 2, you remember seeing the Arbiter and his golden armor that was going to be in Halo 5. There was even that stuff that was getting talked about. Then there was Spartan Lock, and I did like Spartan Lock. I understand it was weird, but him having more campaign missions than Halo than Master Chief, but it was the same thing like in Halo 2, I believe. Well, people were annoyed that you played as the Arbiter but not Master Chief, but now the Arbiter is more of a fan favorite character. And I do think Spartan Locke was a cool character. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like him, but I did enjoy for who he was. I thought that was interesting to see a new Spartan. I mean, it's cool to see new Spartans and part of the Spartan 4 program, if you know what I mean, if you read the books and all that. And I hope we get more things with Spawn. Like I really do. I don't really care what people think of Spawn. Like I mean, he's a cool character, and I hope they bring him back, including the actor. I hope he's doing good. I truly don't know. I probably doesn't really want to go back to being the Spartan and Spawn in the main. Well, I bet he doesn't want to go back to playing the character in Halo 5 or even future Halo games. They probably killed him off, and that would be such an L, and that would be stupid. I will say that. That would be very stupid, and it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't. They shouldn't do that because it's. I mean, is that just a thing now with 343 where there's a character they make and then later on they kill him off because no one likes him? I mean, it doesn't make sense and it's stupid. That's all I have to say. It's stupid. But there's probably even more stuff I can't really think about as a whole with Halo 5, but there's a lot of good things with Halo 5, even the custom browser that had some weird stuff sometimes, if you know what I mean, if you've played through the Halo 5 custom browser, if you guys remember that little bit of that XX thingamajig, if you know what I mean, that happened. I'm not going to get deeper into it because my YouTube, and it's probably a little too controversial to talk about, but if you guys remember that, if you played through Halo 5's custom browser, yeah, there was some interesting action going on, even in some of the game modes where people were just pressing the B button, just teabagging people. It was weird. There was some weird stuff in Halo 5's custom browser. But there was a lot of good game modes, I will say that. Later on, when the game was fully complete. Even Theo mode and Forge World had issues when they launched, so yeah. Even Infection was fun. Infection was really fun. Super Fiesta was extremely wacko and like weird, with everyone shooting guns and guns shooting odd bullets that they're not supposed to fire. I think the assault rifle shot like a fuel rod gun, just like it was just wacko. But I mean, even with all the issues, I hope Halo 5 does come to Steam. I know it's on the Microsoft storefront that no one uses, so I hope it does come to Steam, and I hope they do update the game and add new stuff to it. I hope that happens because I do not want Halo 5 to be forgotten. How much I don't really like the game, but the gameplay wise, I do like the gameplay, but I just don't like the story, if you know what I mean. But I hope they do something with Halo 5. I hope they do still stuff with it. Hope they continue updating the game and add new stuff, but I think at this point 343 kind of want people to forget about Halo 5, sadly, and that is sad, but it's just how it is, and the only people they have to blame is themselves and Microsoft, because Microsoft is kind of the one that I think really did a lot of weird things with Halo 5. But I don't know, maybe years later it's gonna be like, oh, it's such a hidden gem. People hated on the game too much. It's probably that's what's gonna happen. I mean, that's what happened to episode 1, 2, and 3 of Star Wars. Everyone hated those films, and then years later, everyone started liking those films again. I mean, I don't know. It's just something weird that's been going on with the day society, but that's about all. Like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support me, go to my Odyssey channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you, scavengers. Oh yeah, I forgot about saying as well, there was some customization for the weapons as well. I will say that. There was customization for the weapons, and there was a lot of cool stuff they did add to the customization. Should have said that. Even for, like, all the weapons. And oh yeah, even the waves. I mean, there were different types of waves, different Covenant weapons, even 410. And oh yeah, I shouldn't end the video yet, but the Prometheans, the Prometheans were really cool in Halo 5. I will say that. I should have said that at the beginning, but I didn't. But the Prometheans, there was a lot of cool things with the Prometheans as a whole, with how they were done, like the Promethean soldiers, because with Halo 4, I thought the Prometheans were really cool. Even the weapons. I mean, they did change the weapons in Halo 5, how they shot, how they did things as with Halo 4, so there was some differences. And I think there was a lot of good improvements with the weapons, and I do enjoy that. And there was a reason why they changed the weapons. There was a reason, because those weapons could have different mechanics in the lore if you've read the books and know about the 4-Wonder technology, if you know what I mean, if you've read the books. And it's even canon fodder, I believe, that talked about the weapons, but as a whole, that as well, that was really cool. And the Promethean Knights had like a much better, like, I mean, game mode than with Halo 4, where they really were just all the same, but with different weapons and different designs. And they were much more difficult to take down. I will respect that. But oh yeah, even the boss fight, Warden Eternal was such an L of a boss fight. He is so easy to defeat. I mean, he's a very easy boss to kill. I mean, Halo has never been a big thing about bosses. I will say that Halo has never been like that type of company, that type of series, not company, but type of series where there was like a memorable boss fight. It's always been like, oh, that boss fight, nice, like that, if you know what I mean. But well, maybe the Halo Wars boss fights were pretty good. I will say that, even if had some weird stuff about them, but they were cool boss fights. I would say Halo Wars' boss fights were cool, but as a whole, that's about all. I'll see you guys in the next video. See you, scavengers.